So I think we can start. Thank you for joining this session. Bosch here. We are 4 associates, 4 colleagues of Bosch, and they will introduce themselves. My name is Camilla Negri. I'm the HR manager of the Torino location of Bosch, where the mobility sector is more present in Italy, because you will see that Bosch does many different things, many different products, but we are here today, of course, because we are part of the mobility sector. So let's start. This is a nice video.
Like a boss, like a boss, like a boss, like a boss, like a boss.
Okay, so going back to the agenda, who you will meet today. So I said my name is Camilla Negri. Then we have 2 colleagues from Bosch Engineering. Bosch Engineering is a particular division inside the Bosch Group. Stephan Tafel from Germany and Gianfranco Fenocchio. Then we will pass the stage to Giulio Lancellotti, working with me in the Torino location. And then time for you for your questions. Today, I have the task and the honor to introduce you to the Bosch Group. So to start, I would like to ask you, what do you know about Bosch? So if we say Bosch, what do you think as far as products? What comes to your mind? We've never seen any Bosch product. Don't be shy.
Wash machines.
So usually the answer we get is refrigerators, wash machines, and all that sector. That is the so-called consumer goods sector. So any product you can buy going into a media world or any department store. But what I was meaning to tell you is that we owe actually most of our sales not to this sector, but to the mobility one. So a lot of products that are inside our cars and motorcycles, trucks, e-bikes, whatever moves on the street is probably equipped by Bosch somehow. Here's what happened. I don't know.
Go again.
Can maybe use the...
I don't know. It's not working.
Puoi accendere il microfono.
Thank you. Ok, cambiato microfono. Robert Bosch, that you've seen in some old pictures, was truly an inspiring personality. So I suggest you to check it out on the internet, because he was actually a very innovative figure at his time. He managed to fund his little startup that became this group that you see today. It's a group that counts more than 400,000 employees in the world. And if you think that Modena doesn't even come to 200,000, it means more than double than this city, with a lot of diversity inside this group as far as culture, languages, backgrounds, and even academics that you find inside this group. It's a truly international one. So today we have our colleague from Germany, but he's quite close. You might find projects that drive you to work with people from India, Malaysia, South America, and we truly work with them daily. So it's a very peculiar group, and what makes it even more peculiar, other than this overall turnover of 90 billion euros per year, is the fact that the ownership structure of Bosch is something totally unique in the scope of other companies like ours, because it bases on a foundation. So it means that you cannot buy the Bosch stocks in the stock market. It's not possible, because all stocks, almost all stocks, there's a little percentage still owned by the family of Robert Bosch, but the vast majority is owned by the Robert Bosch Foundation. And the aim of this foundation still dates back to the will of Robert Bosch, because when he died, he wanted to organize his company like this. So the revenues of the company are reinvested in projects that are socially responsible. And of course, this is something that we are really proud about when we joined Bosch. Another thing that I wanted to point out to students like you is the fact that Bosch reinvests a huge percentage of its turnover in research and development. It's one of the companies that gives the largest amount of money into research and development, with 136 locations of research and development worldwide, 4 of which are in Italy. So we do have research centers in Italy as well. And you see the large number of associates working into R&D. The business sectors, just to give you an idea, at the beginning I mentioned the consumer goods sector, which is the most renowned for all of us when we walk into a store and need to buy wipers, for example, or we need to buy a wash machine. But Bosch owns the majority of sales to the mobility solution. So still today, 60% of sales come from the mobility sector. Then we have another sector that is that goes by the name of Bosch Rexroth, by the brand Rexroth, that is engaged in industrial technology, and then the energy and building technology sector. Something that I really need to tell you today is the fact that we've been talking a lot also this morning about sustainability and the engagement that most of our companies in the automotive industries put into being more and more sustainable. One big goal that Bosch achieved, and actually it achieved it during the pandemic, so it was even more a pride for us, was that it became carbon neutral. So our operations across the globe are carbon neutral already today. Our effort for the future, of course, is to have also our suppliers becoming carbon neutral as well. So we want also to, let's say, spread this idea also with our suppliers. Where we want to go and the future of mobility, I'm not going to go into details because we have colleagues who are going to tell you more about this. What I want to tell you is that we used to refer to the automotive sector, so automotive sector in the past, but now we talk about mobility also inside the company, and this takes with it a mindset change, because we used to be for many years suppliers of parts, but now we are becoming more and more suppliers of services, and our colleagues will tell you more about this. And this is truly a mindset change for our company, and it also comes with the fact that our customers are changing very rapidly. One more thing before I give the stage to my colleagues is that we are part of Muner. I don't know, are there any Muner students here today? Okay, so you probably know already that Bosch is part of this large association. Last year we hosted in our Milano location a company visit. Did any of you participate? No? Yes, you were there. Okay, nice to see you again. And it was a nice chance to get to know you, and also we tested you as far as the HR aspect, giving you some tasks and some assessment that you had to take, which I hope was a nice experience also to get ready for future interviews with future employers. So now to Stephan Tafel.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, hello together. And I can need this device here. Okay, well, how can we start? Let me see. No, that was the wrong direction. Okay, with a short introduction of myself. My name is Stephan Tafel, and I'm inside Bosch Engineering, and I will explain it a little bit later. And over 25 years ago, I was in a more or less same position as you. I studied mechanical engineering in master thesis in Stuttgart area. And I followed up with a PhD. I did it at Mercedes in the research department for combustion diesel engine. And afterwards, directly, I was there as a calibration engineer in the powertrain domain. And to be honest, that was what I was looking for during my study. I said, I want to go with the cars. I want to be in the car, tune the car, make the calibration, be on the engine test bench. Everything happened like this. But then, after some years, in 2001, I changed. I went in the position of project and team leader to AVL Schrick. It's a small company which supports with engineering services. That's the same what we are doing now here in the BEG. And there I was for 3 years, and there maybe some example. We were the first who had the Bugatti 16-cylinder engine on the engine test bench with 1,000 horsepower. And we were really the first engine spokes with us on this engine test bench at AVL Schrick. And I was really proud. I was part of the team. But then in 2004, I moved over to Bosch. And since then, I'm inside Bosch. And now in Bosch Engineering, Vice President, responsible for vehicle cross-domain, which means all the points about system engineering, calibration, verification, validation, and also the test center. So that's about my career. And you will introduce directly?
Hello? Okay.
Better.
So yes, slide is not that interesting, but it's just an example how a career in Italy can be. So I started just after the university doing R&D in Fiat Research Center. Then after a couple of years, I moved to Pininfarina, so out of the techniques in a purchasing department, which was interesting to understand how automotive world works, but was really interesting, but too early. I still wanted to use my hands, so I came then to Bosch as application engineer on diesel engines, and there I had my, let's say, complete cursus honorum, so being then responsible for all FCA engines from Bosch perspective, so Bosch engine control, and then Bosch engineering that Stephan will explain better as sales director, and now responsible for Italy.
Okay, thank you very much, Gianfranco. Okay, and now we are talking about Bosch engineering. Normally it should run a film.
Can we come yesterday, every day? Imagine the absurd and silence the doubts. Every new day is a chance to advance, and sometimes we fail, but we try again and again until we succeed. We push boundaries, develop individual solutions until we are where we want to be. It's not only about being the first, it's about being the best. This is why we push for innovation. Strive until an automated and connected future becomes reality. Our holistic approach allows us to understand the vehicle as a whole, electrify the powertrain, and take mobility to the next level. We move beyond the expected. Together, we create the exceptional. Because we are pioneers, unconventional, smart, curious, always a step ahead. Because what moves us today is passion for tomorrow.
Okay. Oh, now it's a little bit, try it again. Okay, I don't know what is. It is here our mission and vision statement, and you can't see it. We engineer the mobility of tomorrow is our vision statement, and we do it together, passionate and customized. And what does it mean? Together means we all together, so we as a family, but that means also together with our customers, passionate, okay, our products, our people, gives a lot of passion or release a lot of passion, and passion was also in the morning a point in our lectures. And of course, we do customized solution. Okay, some facts and figures as we had before. We are 100% inside Bosch. So we are a subsidiary, 100% owned by Bosch. We were founded in 1999 as a very small company starting with powertrain activities, so delivering engineering service in powertrain for small customer. And you can think about, okay, here in Modena, in this area, these OEMs we have here were already our customers in this time. So we have now currently around about 3,300 employees. We are in over 10, it should be, yeah, we have over 20 sites in over 10 countries, so that's the right direction. And maybe interesting, we start from 0 cylinder up to 24 cylinder. What means 0 cylinder? It's all about electric, because electric has no cylinder. But then we have, if you can say you have 1 cylinder, we have projects with small engines, but up to very big engines. Interesting, we start also with a batch of 1. So if we have a customer and he said, I just want to build 1 car, no problems for us. It's totally different because our mother company, they just go for the volume customer and we go for the small customer, and it can start with 1. We have over the year more than 800 projects. So that's not that we have a project only 1 year, but in the year it's over 800 projects. And maybe also interesting, the motorsport is also part of us, and here we have over 125 years of experience. Okay, what we stand for, I have to look at here, it's very small. You can read it. Of course, we stand for high performance. We have the highest quality standard, of course, because we are belonging to Bosch products. We have highly qualified associates, and so maybe one of you will be our associate too. And we are dealing with groundbreaking innovations. So that is it in an overview. Coming back to the sites, in the middle, of course, is Italy. You can see it, it's just in the middle. And the beating heart is here, no doubt, but we are located in Turin. And then if you see it more to the right and to the left, I come from Abstadt, it's in Germany. I'm in Abstadt in Holzkirchen. And then you see all the other sites, also in North America on the left, and on the right you see the Asian Pacific. And to be clear, we are very close to, normally with our sites on the Bosch side. So we are here in very close connection, just to be also in a collaboration with Bosch entities. So in here now the position in the Bosch Mobility company, or in the Bosch Mobility solution. On the top is a customer, of course. Then we are more or less an interface. We serve all the different products from Bosch to our customer. And maybe I give some examples. It starts on the left with the powertrain solution. Powertrain is, for example, internal combustion engine. Here we deliver software and we deliver calibration. And of course the hardware. So if the customer needs the hardware, we deliver it. Then next is motion. What means motion? Motion is everything what belongs to the it's a drive, but also the steering and the braking of the car. And we are talking by software-defined vehicle to a more centralized architecture. And with this architecture, then you get some functions together in this part. Then it's hard to read. Then you have the cross-domain solution. Cross-domain is if you have not a specific area, you have also topics which goes over the area. So it's more or less like an umbrella for different topics in the car. And here the important point is that, for example, think about the electrical architecture, EE architecture in a car. Then we talk about different perspective or different technology in the car. So then we have the mobility electronic, but there is something different. I skipped the electrified motion. That is all about the electrical engine. Then the mobility electronics, there is included wiper systems, for example, and all about the infotainment, what is in the car. And then, of course, we have, it's really hard to see. Then we have two-wheeler, sorry for that, two-wheeler and power sports. Power sports are all about the vessels we have, boats and so on and so forth. And mobility aftermarket, what does it mean? Mobility aftermarket, we have products, for example, for aviation, and we get them from the aftermarket, but then with a specific purpose and also with a specific number. Okay, and below you see ETAs. They develop, now I got it. It's in German, sorry for that. It's not the current presentation. So we have
customers.
Yeah, we have the development and production tools from ETAs, and we make sure or give our customer access to these tools. Okay, so overview of our services. Again, individual solutions. Then we have these expertise in ecosystem and cross-domain applications. We give all-in-one solutions, specific functions development, of course, and it's very important, long-term support, which means also after the development time, we deliver our services. So we engineer the mobility of tomorrow that we are going for. I will skip these because we are a bit lacking of time. If we look on our branches, I already said we are on the road, of course, but not only there, we are also on rail. We are also in the air, so aviation we serve. Then we are talking about two-wheeler, four-wheeler. Then we have the commercial vehicles also off-highway, which means construction, and the motorsport. And maybe some specific words to the motorsport. We have in the motorsport all the components from Bosch for our customer. We give electronic support, of course. And in the middle, you see the innovations, because we make sure, or we give the opportunity also to give our motorsport company innovative products, but also get, I would say, innovative ideas back into the serious development. And on the right, you see we developed also an ECU for us, or for the motorsport purpose. And why is it so different? Maybe you think just on the connectors. In a serious developed ECU on a serious car, you may, during the lifetime of the ECU, open and close the connectors twice or three times over the whole lifetime. In motorsport, you have to open and close the connector before and after each race. And so it's really totally different, and because of that, we developed it by ourselves. So now I want to give you maybe an example of a project we did with my team. It's also something missing. The picture is missing. Goes like this. Okay, it's the project we did together with Ligier, and we built a hydrogen engine into a race car. And the important point was we start with an V6 3-liter in series production engine, and we just changed only a few parts, especially all the parts about the fuel and the tank system, and gained out of this engine 443 kilowatts at 7,250 revs and 650 Newton meter, which is only a small portion below the gasoline version. And with this car, we are able to run over 290 kilometers per hour. And the interesting point, we fixed all the H2 system into this race car, into the monocoque, and we reached out of a total weight of 1,450 kilo only. And the capacity of the hydrogen leads up to approximately 20 minutes race mode. And yeah, we are still in the project here. We did it for our Keep in Touch last year, but now we are also going further by making more adaptations on the engine to get more power. And we think we can exceed over 500 kilowatts. And we are now working on the exhaust emission. So, okay, benefits at a glance. You can see it, all service from a single source, because we are like BEG, we have all the different areas from Bosch included. We have the cross-domain vehicle competence. I explained a little bit with the umbrella. We serve customized solution. We have a high flexible personal support, and of course with the proven Bosch quality standards, and we serve inside the strong Bosch network But all the glands wouldn't occur if we would not have Gianfranco here in Italy. And so I hand over.
Thanks a lot, Stephan. So, yeah, you have got some insight about Bosch Engineering. Now I would like to go deeper in the detail of Italy. What are we doing here? We are celebrating this year 10 years of Bosch, of the company in Italy. We have two sites, one in Turin, our headquarters, let's say, where we have mainly sales and administration activities, and the second office in Modena, where we have our engineering, because we are close to the customers. We are keen on all the sport and luxury customers that are, of course, here in this area. So I'm speaking about Ferrari, Lamborghini, Maserati, Pagani, Dallara, and so on. And here, what are we doing in terms of engineering? We have 4 activities. First of all, we manage projects, especially with focus on hardware development. Then we have a team for functional safety, with people expert at vehicle system level and powertrain. We have resident activities at the customers, focusing mainly on powertrain, ADAS, active safety, and not only. And then consultancy. This is something brand new that we, let's say, invented, let me use this word, in Italy. Since, as you understood probably from the previous presentation, we can have access as Bosch Engineering to the complete Bosch portfolio. And therefore, we have the unique possibility to make parts of the puzzles together, defining new businesses, new business cases, new business models, and new services. And what we have done is using the Bosch production system to support our customers, helping them in defining their own processes regarding the engineering, the production, sorry. Our main goal is to support the sport and luxury customers, as I mentioned. Here some brands with a list of activities we are performing on those customers. So of course, we are probably the biggest supplier for combustion, gasoline, of course, in this area, but we are looking forward to new technologies, and we are working on hydrogen, but we are keen on electrification, fuel cell, e-fuels, and so on. We are expert of active safety, so we are defining, calibrating the vehicle dynamics with our customers. Passive safety, ADAS, of course, in Italy, let's say up to level 2+, because with the customers we have here, the focus is on driving, and therefore the customers here are not really focused on the next other steps, but let's see what happens in the future. Power steering, as well as for active safety, we are going to work on by-wire technologies. And then really a list of contents, I don't list here, but really we are on each and every electronic component, making the hardware development, the software, and the calibration. And last point is the architecture, because being expert on all these domains, we can really work at system level, supporting the customer to define its own architecture. I told before we are free, let's say, to invent new businesses, and I'm bringing here some examples because we are also working outside and beyond automotive. Here, for instance, we used automotive components by Bosch, and we brought it to new market. So let's say defining a electrification system for speedboats. Or we are bringing on the market a system to avoid forward collisions for railway and trams using a mid-range radar, camera, and the controller. This slide is just to give an impression what are we doing in terms of consultancy, so supporting the customer to define the processes, simultaneous engineering, therefore supporting the customer to define the component they are developing, as well as the production processes needing to produce in a lean way that component, and all those technologies they will need. That's it for Bosch Engineering in Italy, so I pass the ball to my colleague. Thanks a lot.
Okay, great. Thank you, Gianfranco. So I have a good news for you. We have the last 3 slides and then it's set. So we will leave then to question and hopefully answers. Really nice to be here. I'm Giulio Lancellotti, and as you, I studied and I was born some decades ago in Modena. I studied at the University of Modena before joining Bosch after a part of the career spent in Metasystem to start doing and deep in dive telematic business. So today in the 3 slides, which I promised before, I will try to give you an outlook of how the world of mobility is changing and how as Bosch we are facing it. So I want to start, as Camilla did, with the first question: how many services or software activities you know from Bosch in the automotive domain? There's a big reward if somebody of you is able to answer the question. Okay, great. That's already a very good starting point because we are pretty new in this domain. So it was a quite challenging question also for some Bosch colleagues maybe. And that's given the fact that the architecture of the car is changing quite heavily. You will have after our session, I think, the Tesla One, which had been one of the first companies decoupling completely hardware from software. So in the current architecture, as you can see, the development of the hardware went end by end with the one of the software and the services on it. What is happening today is that the content of the vehicle had been completely decoupled. Therefore, OEMs, car makers, and all the mobility providers are starting to develop software completely independent from the hardware domain on it. And as you can imagine, this is opening up a huge ocean of opportunities ahead of us, which are playing technologies around the mobility segment. Opportunities not always easy to take, especially because the mindset starting from decades ago was always to work coupled software and hardware. How we are doing it, starting from January this year, so it's pretty new. We have a completely new organizational structure. We named it the Mobility Company Program. It's publicly announced. And this is how currently the company is intending to face this huge change in the mobility arena. Starting from the bottom, you will see the importance gained from the chips. Chips crisis may be something you are aware of. Electronics is increasing exponentially within the vehicle. Therefore, there is the need to focus specifically on how to deal with chips, MEMS, and semiconductor components. Moving up, there are the 5 domains which already the Bosch engineering colleagues described before. So infotainment, ADAS, motion, energy, and body and comfort. So we are coupling activities which are part of the same technological stack within the vehicle. And on the top, on the purple top, you see the importance standalone with that application software and services are starting to have with respect to the mobility environment. And on top of that, the top left side of the slide, you will see 4 of these services that we are bringing towards the mobility ecosystem. And again, that's something we are learning day after day on how to face it and on how to work on software and services standalone activities. One very concrete example, which maybe sounds new to some of you, we are, as the Bosch engineering colleagues described before, in every vehicle, basically. What we are doing is starting to create digital twin of the different components which are in the car in order to increase the accuracy of the residual value of the car during the lifetime of the vehicle. You know that today are used often and often selling options like leasing, rental, sharing, increasing the precision of the definition of the residual value is becoming something that is used from the majority of the mobility players. And we are extremely active in that domain. We are doing it with platform and software as a service activities, which is, again, for us, something completely new if you think that the company comes from the specific piece price domain. Therefore, as promised, I'm set with the 3 slides, but we are extremely happy to answer to questions from your side. Thank you very much for the attention.
Shall we change?
So, are there any questions for us? Switch it on. Yes. One question.
What do you think is not going to change in the next like 10 years about the industry, maybe with a focus on manufacturing rather than services?
Yes. You want to answer?
Okay. Yeah, thanks for your question. So the question, I understood you asked what will not change. We are talking about a lot of changes and what will not change. Maybe on the first order, I would say what not change will be the engineering service itself. So still we have to engineer, still we have to hardly work on this. Of course, it will change. Our methods will change. Our tools will change, of course. We heard in the morning a lot of AI. That will change massive, of course. But at the end, you still need someone who is able to judge about the result. So you need to engineer on it. So I would focus not to go with fear into, okay, everything will change, so what will be stable? It's more about our engineering itself will stay stable. But we need to change our tools, our methods, maybe also our habit in some cases. But on the engineering perspective, we will still need, I would say, passionate engineers to work on the topics. But we need to be open and we have to be, say it like this, a passion in continuous learning. I think that I can really promise you.
Any other question? There. Please.
The mic? Maybe you get the mic?
Give him the mic.
No.
Okay.
On the way.
Good afternoon. My name is Jonathan. I live in Modena. And the question is concerning connected car and ITS G5 program of the European community. What Bosch is involving to and will do for the future. As you know, in Modena we have a MASA, that is the largest laboratory in Italy for connected car. So I think it would be interesting to know.
Will you give the answer?
Yeah, we are not specifically engaged with the MASA project, but in general we are extremely active, especially in the ADAS domain with respect to all the swarm services that you can generate on autonomous driving. We have at the moment one publicly announced project with Cariad in Germany, which is named ADA, Autonomous Driving Alliance, to study features around ADAS. But we are extremely happy to get in depth about the MASA opportunity in case of openness to step into. So absolutely, it's something we are here also to discuss, but we are not currently engaged in the MASA project.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Maria. I am from Brazil. I currently live here in Modena. And in the beginning of the talk, it was talked about diversity and inclusion, which is one of the big focus of the big companies right now. About that, I have just a curiosity. I would like to know if Bosch is a certified gender equality company, especially thinking about that you guys are part of the supply chain of many big companies. So by being certified or by having initiatives to increase the number of women in the company would also affect the whole supply chain of big companies.
Okay, I can answer to this gladly because I was actually engaging in diversity and inclusion topics since 2 years ago. So we got certified by Winning Women Institute, that is an Italian local certification institute, 2 years ago, and we are now in the process of getting the new certification that is being launched by the government. That is probably a little more complex than the one that we had in the past, so we are progressing on that, but there are several projects inside the company focusing on the gender balance, because we need more women, especially in managerial roles. So this is something not new for the colleagues because the company has been working on this for years now. It's not easy because the basis from which we collect our talents is already unbalanced at the beginning to start with. It's a struggle, but we are, I mean, we are working actively on this.
Hello, thank
Hello.
you for the presentation. My name is Andrea. I would like to ask you something about e-fuels. I think Mr. Fenocchio mentioned that in his presentation. And last year it was a huge topic in media because I think Porsche with Bosch also opened the site, e-fuel site in Chile. And I would like you, how are your attitudes? How is the progress towards this project? And do you see a future in it? Thank you.
Well, the point for the e-fuel is that it strongly depends on the legislation. We think there will be an opportunity. We see it as very interesting in order to keep the current engines and current structures and so on. So we think there is a future. We are not alone, as you mentioned, with Porsche and others, but we are, let's say, neutral in terms of technologies for the powertrain. So as we mentioned, we are working on several possibilities for the future. One for sure that we see very interesting, especially, first of all, for the motorsport, is the hydrogen. We have actually already serious projects in that field, also for tracks in India, so heavy duty. So these are the two domains where also hydrogen could be really an option, and as well as e-fuel. And after motorsport, of course, as we are speaking here in the Motor Valley about sport and luxury, we assume that after motorsport, these kind of vehicles could be interested in it if the hydrogen will be available. So it depends, of course, on the structures. And as well, for sure, we are very keen on the electrification. Regarding e-fuel, it's absolutely an option. It depends on several factors, legislation, costs, and so on. But we are there.
Okay, since we are about to conclude, I only would like to tell you these two last slides, what's on to these two last slides. So our entry opportunities, what we can offer as an entry point into the company. For example, we offer thesis. We offer thesis both in Torino, then Modena. internship, even though not targeted to writing the thesis in both cases, and then direct employment, of course. And where do you find our open positions? On the Bosch career website. There is a Lavora con Noi for Italy, or Bosch Careers in general, where you can find also openings abroad, because there is one general system that collects all openings worldwide. So even if you're interested in an experience in Germany, for example, you might check this website out, Bosch Careers, and you find all countries where you have Bosch locations and all openings. Of course, applying is really easy. You can do it also over LinkedIn, and it takes just 2 minutes. So I think we've come to the end, because there is another talent talk. Oh, one more question. Okay, I don't know if I'm allowed to, because okay, then we can, if you have other questions, we can wait outside for further questions.
Okay, I have a question for Mr. Tafel. Sorry for my pronunciation. Is that right? You did a PhD after your master thesis, is that right? I would like to ask you if that gave you an advantage in your career later, because you invested 2 or more years in that, and so I would like to know if that was worth it. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. And I would answer it like this. It was for me a time, it took me 3.5 years. It was a time for me to show everything what I've learned, to bring it into a practice, into a project, and with a hard end and definition. You have to write it down at the end, and it's more like a small book. And what I learned in these 3 years helped me a lot afterwards. So it was more than just to learn technology. It was also to learn about, okay, how to organize myself, how to organize a project, how to bring it really to an end. Not, okay, I need to do this and this and this and this afterwards. And this helps me afterwards a lot. So it's not the point, okay, now he has a doctor, or he is a doctor. That it isn't. It is also what you learn about this. So if you think about continuous learning, it's a way. It's not the only way. So you can also do, maybe you change. You have already also seen on my career, I changed also in different companies. That helps me also get different perspectives. So I would say it's all about, it's equal a little bit like this. It's what, at the end, it fits to you, and what the end helps you. And that can only decide yourself by your own. Sorry for that. So I can't give the advice, just make all in PhD. No, that it isn't. But it helps to work in a PhD, to bring it to an end, to finalize it. And that gives you also, I would say, power later to make specific projects, bring them really to an end. Is okay for you? Good.
Okay, thank you. So I said, if you have further questions, we can wait.